It's great to be with you again in this 14th INDELT webinar. That is, it refers to International Dialogue on English Language Teaching. And again, it's great to see you in this webinar, and thank you so much for your participation from all over the world. And in this webinar, I'm going to be together with Kenan Çetin. Unfortunately, Joanna will not be here for some family matters. And she also sends her best wishes and thanks to the speakers and, of course, for the audience. All right. So, Kenan, would you like to say something about yourself? Because you are the one, who prepares all those posters. And today you're going to be together with me during the webinar to support me, technically. Right, Kenan?
Hello, Ferit Hocam. Thank you for introducing me. I'm Kenan Çetin. I'm from Barton University. I'm currently a research assistant here. I'm doing my PhD in English language teaching, and I'm sort of the behind the scene guy for these events. I usually do the flyers and help with some technical issues and help with the chat probably in this webinar. So again, thank you, Ferit Hocam.
Okay, so thank you so much, Kenan, for this nice introduction about yourself, and also thank you so much for the, technical thing, behind the scene guy. Okay, thank you so much. All right, before we start, I would like to, remind you several things about our webinar. First, the webinar is going to be recorded, and the recordings will be available at our YouTube channel, whose link Kenan is going to share with you in the upcoming minutes. And all the participants unfortunately have been muted during the webinar, because otherwise we have some kind of technical issues, background noises, etc. In order to avoid that, we have to mute all of you, and also we have stop your sharing any kind of video or any kind of document. Sorry for that. But during the question and answer session, if you would like to ask your questions in person, you can then turn on your webcam and turn on your microphone, and you can ask your questions in person. And the other thing is, all the speakers are going to talk about their topics, and they have 15 minutes, unfortunately, because we have to limit the time. And at the end of all the talks, we're going to have question and answer session. And also we're going to share the link for the electronic or e-certificates so that you can have them in your email address. Okay, so again, I would like to thank all the speakers today with us. And I would like to also indicate that the presentations are listed based on the surnames of our speakers. All right, so let me introduce the very first speaker, Maedeh AMİNİ. She's an EFL teacher and psycholinguistics researcher from Iran. She holds an MA degree in applied linguistics, offering 6 years of expertise in English language instruction. Her main research interests include multimodality in teaching and learning, computer-assisted language learning, flipped learning, information and communication technology, cognitive linguistics, and neuropsychology of language. Okay, so Maedeh AMİNİ, the mic is yours.
So, good evening, everyone. First, I would like to thank the organizers of this webinar and also for offering the opportunity to be part of this event. My presentation entitled Challenges and Effectiveness of Using the Local Educational Network of Students, which evaluated as SHAD during the pandemic in Iran's schooling system, and I'm going to reflect on my own experience during this period. Here is the agenda of my presentation. I'm going to talk about student education network and will focus on its benefits and major challenges. As an introduction and chain of events, let me talk a little bit about our country. Iran was one of the first and hardest hit countries by the COVID-19 pandemic. This unforeseen scenario triggered substantial changes in education systems and brought to light the challenges of transitioning TFL programs from a face-to-face to a remote teaching paradigm. And our educational system suddenly found itself in the critical condition of needing to use the internet and e-learning in a short period of time. However, there were limited access to the necessary facilities such as high-speed internet and proper connection devices. So the next step for teachers and students was to acquire the necessary skills for teaching and learning in this new educational environment. And the selection of the appropriate platform was challenging for us. At that time, as school suspensions due to the coronavirus outbreak became more widespread in March 2020, the state broadcasting organization began arranging daily classes on channels to present course materials for various grades. This project, however, did not grow in a full curriculum on national TV. Therefore, the government unveiled an online application, the social network of students, which, as I mentioned, is abbreviated as SHAD in Persian. And it was created by the Ministry of Education in the spring of 2020. Now, regarding the context in which we teach English, in Iran, compulsory schooling comprises 6 years of elementary education, followed by 3 years of middle school, and then 3 years of high school. And the students begin to learn English from the 7th grade. However, it's very common for many of them to attend the English private classes from an earlier age. And these extracurricular English courses are more frequent among middle and upper middle families who can afford them and appreciate the importance of English in their children's future educational and professional success. Indeed, apart from traveling abroad or enjoying popular forms of media or working in academic contexts and industries that conduct international commerce and business, English does not play a crucial role in most Iranian daily life. And to talk about the dominant methodology in Iranian public schools, I should say that the methodology of teaching in public schools is somehow old-fashioned, and until recently, the conventional GCM and ALM methods are used in public schools with a strong emphasis on a student's lexical and grammatical rules. In general, public classrooms, including English classes, are more teacher-centered with a low level of student involvement. This is partly attributed to cultural factors and partly due to the crowded nature of these classes. On the other hand, private language institutes offer more student-centered and communicative classes with higher emphasis on oral skills, and the textbooks used are by international publishers. For these reasons, there is an overall consensus that the students who attend private language institutes are more successful than those who rely merely on school-based instruction. Now, how students' education process is selected. With the peak of virus spread, the schools all over the country were strictly shut down, and we started by setting up some separate messaging groups for each of our classes. The school coordinators actually started planning to come back online and communicated every step of the way to us. This enabled us to pave the way for an enriched learning environment, transparent to our pupils. I personally pursued my teaching via social media initially through something like WhatsApp and Telegram. We're talking about my own teaching in that period, and then on April 9, the Ministry of Education released the homegrown SHAD application. How this application was effective? It offers the possibility of holding a live class, and as you see, video live streaming in short classes supports synchronous online learning experiences and helps the teacher more closely match online learning to the in-person classroom experiences that students are used to. And as you can notice here, the class is recorded, and the recorded video will remain in class channel for 24 hours. And if the students need a further access to it, they have to download the video and stay within their own devices, in their own cell phones, within the aforementioned time confinement. Meanwhile, one point is worth mentioning that the interaction in this application is not fully bilateral, as only the students can see the teacher, and for the sake of asking questions or giving feedback, they are required to type in these chat box. There is also the possibility of voice and video call, as well as group voice dialogues for more interaction and collaboration, and studies close communication and educational software provides participants with the opportunity to be in touch with other classmates or teachers through the video call facilities. And we actually leverage video call option for assessing the students' oral skills progress in every session, and also the group voice dialogue for having more discussion. And the third and most unique feature was this assignment bot that provides opportunity for students to demonstrate that they have achieved the learning goals, and it allows the teacher to select and evaluate their students' work. And you can notice here the content of the application comprises different parts. For example, the school channel, the status of students present and absent, private cloud space, personal messages, and the assignment part. And here, the students have access to a collection of their previous homework or the ones in progress. And if they click the green button here, they can download the most recent assignments here and submit their answers in different formats, such as PDF file, a Word file, video or audio components, or whatever. Now, although there were remarkable benefits, we also faced some challenges, some really critical problems, teaching and learning quality and student achievement. Talk about the critical problems. I should say that there was a lack of access to the required instruments, such as smartphones, tablets, and computers for students, and especially in some geographical divisions with low income. As many of my students stated that they had to use a single device, single cell phone with their siblings, while all of them had to be online simultaneously. Also, low speed and disconnected internet, not responding servers, and limited feature of SHAD applications, such as low speed voice and video sending were among other issues that troubled SHAD users. There were also technical difficulties, such as the incompatibility of the files to be transferred with the host system. The next issue was the unfamiliarity with the new educational technology. The training courses held by the Ministry of Education on how to use SHAD were insufficient, and such courses are necessary as this environment was totally novel to many teachers, students, and their families, and also teachers in particular concerned the lack of knowledge of digital content production in this new environment. And more important, no assessment options were included, and difficulty in student evaluation led us to conduct class exams in some external websites rather than using the application itself. We used our website, and waiting for it to be loaded. In this website, there are many services for conducting exams. Not loading. And
okay. So sorry for interruption. So you need to first open the website, and then you can, stop sharing your screen, and then you can share again. Okay, so you can solve that problem.
You cannot. Okay, because I suppose that I'm getting out of time. I just continue for
yeah, so just 1 or 2 minutes, please. Okay, sorry for that.
This application. Never mind. This application has different services, including the question banks and final exams, or textbook exercises and sample questions for school entrance exams. Also, WIRT's packages with tutorial videos, personalized lessons, study planning booklets. There are also some problems, such as teaching and learning quality. In distance learning, it's not a two-way. With your communications in more specifically asynchronous mode, the teacher cannot perceive the student's personality features, their level of attention, and their potential features. As many of my students stated that more learning happens in face-to-face classes rather than virtual classes. But nevertheless, it's noteworthy that introverted students demonstrated more participation and cooperation in distance education, and also regarding student achievement. To my experience, the students showed decreased educational achievements since they were physically removed, yet they became more self-reliant in learning new applications because they were more enthusiastic about using the technology. And to conclude, as you all know, there is no single perfect tool in teaching, and each has its own benefits and drawbacks, and the best educational platform is tailored specifically to students' needs and their level of skills and the context in which it is implemented. And this is the reference which part of my presentation is extracted from my chapter contribution to this invaluable book. It's a great honor and great tool. And so that's all. Thank you for listening to my presentation.
Okay, so Maedeh, AMİNİ, thank you so much for this presentation. So we had some kind of problems with the audio, but to some extent understandable, I think. Yeah, so there was some kind of problems, but I think we could understand what you were talking about. Thank you so much, AMİNİ.
Sorry for the problem.
No, it's okay. So sometimes, that happens, and thank you so much for this erudite information and the presentation. Okay, now we're going to see you again in the question and answer session. And we are now, could you please stop sharing your screen, AMİNİ? Okay, thank you so much. Now we have the second speaker. Tuba KIZILKAN. Tuba KIZILKAN is an ELT professional who has been teaching English to all age levels for about 21 years. She graduated from Ege University, English Language and Literature Department in 2000. She has also another bachelor's degree in international relations and a master's degree in English language teaching. She has started another bachelor's degree in Turkish language and literature. She is also a mind mapping, speed reading, and memory techniques instructor, and an LMP practitioner as well. She has been practicing teaching English through mind maps and creator of hundreds of mind maps. She is focused on linguistics, neuroscience, and languages, and has been conducting academic research on mainly linguistics, English language teaching, mind mapping, and education. So Tuba KIZILKAN, again, thank you so much for agreeing to give your talk.
Thank you so much, Hocam, for this very nice introduction. And let me share my screen with you. Is my voice clear and is my screen can be seen clearly, Ferit Hocam?
I think clear, right? For everybody, right?
Great.
And there's no, by the way, there is no problem with, you know, the screen. The screen is not vibrating or shaking. All right, because somebody I think wrote and about that thing, but there's no problem, at least, you know, for me, I can
It's
say.
okay.
Okay.
Okay. So I would like to welcome all the attendants, and it's a great pleasure for me to present this presentation. And my topic is implementing mind mapping as a teaching tool in distant English language teaching during COVID-19. And my presentation includes the effects of COVID-19 on education, of course, briefly, as my time is very limited. And I will be briefly mentioning what a mind map is, and I will be talking about mind mapping as a teaching tool in remote learning. And of course, I will be sharing my references and also my contact information. As we have all perfectly, you know, been familiar to this reality of COVID-19, the world has faced with a radically shifting change due to COVID-19 in all aspects, and education is one of the main fields that has profoundly been affected by this pandemic. And worldwide policies have been applied to break the spread of COVID-19 by social distancing and lockdowns at all levels of society, including learning activities at all academic levels, which changed face-to-face learning into a remote one. Since the health crisis emerged, the well-being and motivation of students, parents, and teachers has intensely been affected. And during this pandemic, online instruction offers both advantages and disadvantages for teachers and students. And professors faced numerous challenges in e-learning due to a lack of online teaching experience and skepticism about the effectiveness of online assessment and evaluation, a lack of technical infrastructure in the home, as well as a lack of interaction and an inadequate and expensive internet connection. Nonetheless, online education has resulted in increased time and space flexibility, easy and rapid sharing of study material, quick feedback, and more freedom to connect with faculty, and reduce transportation and financial costs, and improve teachers and students' technological skills, and increase the convenience and comfort of learners. And this image shows how COVID-19 affected teachers teaching English as a foreign language teachers' journey during this pandemic. And as you can see, the result for the question above has been answered like this. The result for the question is this open and close-ups affected teachers' motivation and resulted as 55.9% highly affected, and 19.4% affected by the situation, and 12.9% responded as neutral, and 6.5% of the participants partly disagreed the argument, and only 5.4% of them strongly disagreed, according to my research. Yes, during the pandemic, many EFL teachers use some tools to make the online teaching process more effective and comfortable. Several online teaching platforms have been used as Zoom and Google Classroom, Schoology, Microsoft Teams, Maedeh, Google Meet, Skype, Moodle, and so on. And some of the online digital education tools used by EFL teachers, such as Canva, Google Jamboard, Kahoot, Quizlet, Socrative, Animoto, Storyboard, ThinkLeak, TED-Ed, EduClipper, ClassDojo, MindMeister, XMind, Creately, and many more by English learners and teachers. And in this presentation, particularly mind mapping as an online teaching tool will be discussed. So let me explain briefly what a mind map is. It is actually a diagram for representing tasks, words, concepts, or items, and it is linked to and arranged around a central concept or subject using a nonlinear graphical layout. And it turns a long list of monotonous information into a colorful, memorable, and highly organized diagram. And it was first created by Tony Buzan, who completed his undergraduate degree in psychology, English, mathematics, and science. And not only on mind map, but memory techniques and on some familiar subjects. He has written over 100 best-selling books, and his books has been translated. They have been translated into 150 languages and read by millions of people worldwide. And so this is the example of a mind map about what a mind map is. It has been created by me. And what is a mind map? As you can see clearly, as in the example, there is a central idea and a central image. Not necessarily, but it will be a great idea if you just place a image right in the center of your topic or your item or whatever you would like to mention. And of course, we need not the whole sentences, not necessarily, but keywords, only one or two, preferably. And of course, we need colors. Why? Because brain likes colors, not black and whites. And of course, we need images. And the images provide associations, and associations help the brain to memorize much better. And of course, we can use many symbols. And it needs to be clockwise. And the reason we need to arrange this mind map clockwise, because the brain learns clockwise. That's why a clock is clockwise. And the brain does not like straight lines. It needs curves, just like the brain itself. So we can say the brain likes to see itself. And of course, we have the main branches, and also we can have the baby branches, and the shape of the branches can change. There are some box branches and cloud branches and so on. And of course, it's not only about the words. Also, we can add some videos and audios and so on, and other digital forms of information. We can place them in your mind map. And let's get more specific. As you can see, I have an example of one of my students. And while I was teaching and the fourth graders, and with the name of the unit, Fun with Science, you can see on the left side, there are some words, the targeted words that students are supposed to learn. And these are dull and linear word lists. And most of the time they are taught from Turkish to English to Turkish, or from the target language into the native language, and the reverse. So this is not the way the brain likes to learn. And as you can see, the same topic right in the center of this image, the signs, the student has the colors and branches drawn by himself and the images. A student is totally free to draw his own images. It does not have to be exactly related to the word. He or she can choose his own associations, and this personalization makes learning even much more effective. Here is another example of another unit for the fourth graders, and the name of the unit is Jobs, and you can see there is an example of the students, and they mostly like drawing these images, and they also ask me to let them create mind maps. And during this pandemic, we usually practiced language through this mind maps. On the right side, there is a digital mind map which I created related to this topic, including the sentences and the images and the colors and the curves and the branches. And as you can see, there is only a list of the targeted language and the vocabulary here. It is English to Turkish list, and you can see the difference between this dull linear word list and those images, this colorful vivid images. And this is another example of a mind map. And as you can see, this is about present perfect tense. And it includes, with the main branches, the different usages of present perfect tense and examples of the usages of present perfect tense, and images are directly related to the sentences, which makes learning even much more easier, and also lets students associate with these sentences and make them even more memorable. And it actually lets the information to place in the long-term memory. This is my last example of the mind maps. As you can see, again, it's about the order of adjectives, and there are some colorful words, the keywords, and also some examples of these words, and some related images, and from left to right, from right to left, which is clockwise. And before I will tell you the advantages and the challenges of this method, of this tool, mind mapping, this is an ordinary, list of the advantages and challenges. So just have a look at this list and tell me if it's attractive or if it appeals to your learning or your attention. And let me share my mind map exactly prepared out of this information. Yes. So the very same information in another tool, in another shape. So this mind map is about implementing mind mapping in its English language teaching, including advantages and challenges. So let's go into details. What are the advantages of this technique, of this tool? It's absolutely a fun way of learning, no matter what age group is, what language level is. It's absolutely a fun way of learning. according to my students' reactions. And it boosts creativity because you can add many branches and you can use your own colors and images. That boosts creativity. And also it's a great way to revise the information before the exams or at the end of the units. This method actually provides a great mean of revising the information, and students with learning difficulties such as dyslexia or high functioning autism find mind maps to be invaluable study aids. Actually, this is also subject to one of my academic research, which I'm including at the moment, and students like personalization of information. How about challenges? As I mentioned, a student can both use digital softwares and also he or she can do it with as a handmade. So what are the challenges? Of course, it may not be suitable for very strong left brain oriented linear thinkers, and it may take time for to get used to this tool, and it needs discipline and practice until he or she gets used to using this tool. And some of the students may find it a little complicated, and they may prefer a linear way, and they can feel uneasy about it. Very rarely, but this may happen. And learning how to use a digital mind mapping may seem complicated to some students who are not very fond of the digital kind of learning. And some students may not be patient and focused enough because, of course, mind map needs a focus, and also it develops focusing and concentration. And these are my references. And thank you so much for listening to me. I hope I'm not out of my time. And if any of the attendees have any questions, I welcome the questions, and they can contact me through these addresses. I have some blogs related to the topic and my research, and I also have a LinkedIn profile, which I use actively. Thank you so much.
So after Tuba KIZILKAN's presentation on mind mapping, now it's my turn again to invite our third speaker, Ali Şükrü ÖZBAY. Ali Şükrü ÖZBAY holds his BA in English Language and Literature from Ankara University and MA from Karadeniz Technical University, Applied Linguistics program, and PhD from English Language and Literature Department of Karadeniz Technical University. Her main areas of interest include corpus linguistics and learner corpora, translation studies, listening comprehension strategies, academic writing and error analysis, phraseology. He has published research articles and book chapters on corpus linguistics, data-driven learning, meta-discourse, semantic prosody, and lexical priming. Dr. ÖZBAY is currently the departmental coordinator of Erasmus exchange programs and a faculty member at Karadeniz Technical University, Turkey. Okay, so Ali Şükrü Hocam, can you hear me?
Yes, Hocam, I can hear you. Thank you.
Yeah,
Thank
okay.
you for the notice.
I'm really sorry regarding my.
Okay.
Okay. So
okay.
now you
I can see you right now. Fine.
Okay. Sorry for this problem. Okay. Thank you so much. Okay, Ali Şükrü Hocam. Now the stage is yours. Okay.
Okay. Thank you very much for the nice introduction. I would like to offer warm thanks to Ferit Hocam, Joanna, and Kenan Hocam for giving me yet another opportunity to talk to INDELT community. I'm so happy about it. By the way, can you see my screen, sketch engine during online instruction, Kenan Hocam? Yes.
Yeah, we can see. Yeah. Could you please make it full screen if it's okay, also fine for you? You can press F5 or you can use the symbol.
Okay. Yeah, but yeah. Okay, can you? I think, Hocam, this is just fine for me here because I
can. Okay, then that's fine. So
evidence from the right head Scotty. Anyway, so the audience, in this short presentation, I will introduce the sketch engine education program here. Basically, this short presentation will give you a sense of what we did and what we get in return, as well as how we overcame the challenges during the online session here, right? This is a dashboard for the user-friendly sketch engine program. In a short while, I will show you this dashboard here. Basically, this sketch engine program will help you understand how words and phrases are used by the real users of language in the most effective and professional way. Sketch engine interface gives you all kinds of lexical description of a given item, but you need to know what you are looking for. This is the first sine qua non of using sketch engine in the most effective way. You need to know what you're looking for from the sketch engine here, right? Okay, first of all, the first 5 minutes will be about lecturing and the remaining time will be about application here. So I've got 2 different presentations right now here. I'm currently working for the English department of Karadeniz Technical University. It's a middle-sized state university in the northern east part of Turkey here. Okay, so the lesson that we draw all such different sources from is the Corpus application in language classroom for the third-year learners. Basically, this course was supposed to be to the face-to-face classroom procedure accordingly, but for the reasons completely understandable, they just move this part into online session here. So we had some challenges in between, of course, here. First of all, when the university administration delayed the beginning of the semester due to the pandemic here, I seized the opportunity to replan my assigned course syllabus and content and adapt them to the online environment. I designed the course in such a way that my students were familiarized with the sketch activities as part of their project works, which work very well for them. And basically they carried out several corpus-based investigations by means of using sketch engine with different functions here. I will show in a short while how we did so many things together here. So the next slide. So as this was the first time that our learners receive a corpus application course in an online setting, I presented them with a series of various sample queries, right, for introduction, also telling them exactly what settings to apply and how to work in search window together here, as well as with guidance on how to interpret the results. Basically, this course is based on the several quantitative corpus applications of lexic and grammar analysis. We basically work with the word frequencies, collocations, keyword analysis, phrases, lexical patterns, lexical bundles and engram. All sorts of such lexical properties were done in this lesson here. So these linguistic analysis were done by using corpus tools such as unconc, sketch engine, lunchbox, and phrasing at different times. Basically, and in a brief term, I will speak about what we did with the sketch engine program here. Students' passive involvement in the decision-making process whenever we were delivering the project works was a major source of further difficulty for us here. Also, there was content and time limitations during the online sessions here. So thanks to sketch engine online corpus applications, I managed to sustain their motivation to increase study time outside the borders of classroom setting, right? This worked well. Corpus applications in language classroom course aim to produce corpus-based language teaching materials in order to empower language teachers in Turkey and elsewhere in the world, right? To design their own authentic corpus-based materials to provide them with a range of sample topics and implementing sample course plans for use in all 4 skills, as well as promoting, creating corpus-informed teaching materials using online sources. Basically, I was able to overcome the challenges by assigning various projects works. These are some of the project works I assigned to my learners, and particularly I will be talking about collocations with adverbs, right? Okay. So with this project works, basically they were supposed to do, my learners were supposed to do, create corpus-informed materials using integrated skills and by using free online BNC corpus from user-friendly sketch engine interface. So the sample project aims to focus on teaching collocations that begin with such adverbs as blah, blah, blah, by using free online BNC corpus from sketch engine. For this analysis, basically, we work with the concordance, verse sketch, and verse sketch differences features of the sketch engine that were employed here. So this is the end of my first part of my presentation here. I would like to skip the next part. Can you see the next presentation? Kenan Hocam, Ferit Hocam? Corpus analysis of English collocations. I've just
we can just see your slide. Okay.
Sorry. So okay, let me do it again here. Can you see it right now? Corpus analysis is a new.
Yeah,
okay.
sure. Yeah. Okay.
Okay. This is one example from my project works that was done by Ayşenur Hoşoğlu, one of my students here. It is a joint work actually here. Corpus analysis of English collocations with adverbs, creating a new lexical classroom activity model here. Basically, in this presentation, we have some keywords, key concepts, right? Corpus linguistics, data-driven learning. I'm not going to be talking about such things. I know that we are running out of time. We have a very limited time, unlike other webinars in the past, right? I suppose we had more time in the previous webinars, Ferit Hocam. Maybe you can extend for the next one here, next year. So yet another key concept was collocation, right? Sketch engine functions to be used and pedagogic course materials. What corpus linguistics is? For those who may have not first-hand information about the corpus linguistics, right? It is a study of language based on large collection of real-life language use, right? It's also another very popular definition, a large principal collection of nature occurring example of language stored electronically here, right? When it comes to data-driven learning, I have just this picture that tells everything. Every learner in a classroom is a Sherlock Holmes, no matter whether you are working with the primary classroom, secondary classroom, high school, university, prep classes, right? Every learner is a Sherlock Holmes. This is one of the major premises of data-driven learning, right? I'm not going to be speaking more about this, only with the exception that DDL method is also seen as a consultation that is likely to lead to improved language awareness and noticing of the learners, teachers at the same time here, right? Learning construct their learning aspects here. Okay, for the next, I think, okay, corpus function to be used in this presentation. Mainly we use sketch engine and BNC corpora, right? We're just given lots of examples from the BNC corpora by using sketch engine functions here. Okay, sketch engine basically is a user-friendly corpus tool that shows and helps to explore how language works with a variety of search options. I think every language teacher in any teaching setting should be familiarized with the major premises of sketch engine as well as practical information about sketch engine. It gives you all sorts of lexical description of a given item, right? Of course, unless otherwise, you may have some second doubt about what to look for from the sketch engine, in which case there's a danger of being lost in the data here. So if you know what to look for at the right time, from the right corpora, because BNC is not the only option in sketch engine here, there are a lot of other corpora here. We'll be seeing it for a while, in a short while. So you may be on the right track. Okay, it analyzes authentic text of billions of words to identify instantly what is typical in language and what is rare, unusual, or emerging in usage, right? I suppose this is a very important description for the learners as well as for the teachers to adopt, to redesign their course materials accordingly here, right? Anyway, I wish that we had more time to speak more about sketch engine applications, right? The first thing that you need to do is to go to the sketch engine website, right? Then you need to fill in the form to complete the registration process here. It's this stage, one page further here. When you do all such registration process, you will have a dashboard, something like this, where on the right-hand side, we have word sketch option here, word sketch difference option, thesaurus, concordance, word list, engrams. Engrams are the favorite options, by the way, keywords, and other options as well. But we are particularly using these 5 options, right, for the language classrooms here. I think at this stage. So first, before speaking and clicking on yet another sketch engine interface, let me tell you very brief information about the functions of sketch engine. When we look at the first page, dashboard of the sketch engine, we will see that there's a word sketch function here. In word sketch function, in this function, the words and their collocates in separate tables are given. This is like a miracle. I'm repeating, this is like a miracle. I always enjoyed using this function of sketch engine. I terribly and passionately suggest you to use this word sketch function of the sketch engine, which gives you all sorts of lexical description of a given item here, right? It's like a miracle here. Okay, we have also a word sketch difference, which provides a comparison by contrasting two words based on their collocations, right? For example, very synonymous words like begin and do, for example, or make and do, form, establish, complete, utterly, such maximizes like absolute and exactly here, right? You can just come up with a with a clear picture of these different and synonymous words, right? Then you click on this word sketch difference here. Also, we have thesaurus section. I suppose that you already know thesaurus by your first-hand information here. Yet the other last three option is the word list option, right? It gives you all frequency data with the word list in the sketch engine. This function can also be done by using other other corpus tools like unconf, for example, which is a simpler and friendly user page, but sketch engine is more complex in nature here. It gives you a list of words and sort of list based on frequency. Frequency data is not the only data here. We have some other statistical measures whenever we are talking about the word and word list and the order and the frequencies here, right? Is basically when we click on the sketch engine page, we'll see some of these measures. For example, log dice gives you the strength of the collocates, which is almost beyond imagination how a simple tool can make such a determined action to give you the strength, the measurement of strength of a given collocation at one time here. Is like a miracle. I always like using and talking about such stuff here. Also, engrams are yet another great feature of sketch engine and other similar corpus tools, which are also called multi-word expressions. Lexical bundles consist of a group of words in a corpus here. Also, last but not least, we have concordance sections, right? It provides us to see how samples are, sorry for the grammatical typo here, are used in the context with a variety of search options here, right? It's more than a miracle to give all so many different actions of a given word in different contextual patterns here, right? Okay, so at this stage, we can go to sketch engine page. I have now opened a new page. Ferit Hocam, Kenan Hocam, just to be sure on the safe side, can you see dashboard for the sketch engine here, or should I? Okay,
no, just the slide.
Okay. Reshare. Okay, reshare. I think you can see it right now, right?
Just a second.
Dashboard for
we are waiting. Yes. Now we can.
Okay, yeah. Dear audience, this is like a miracle I said several times in this presentation. I mean it, by the way, here. You see in the sketch engine dashboard on the right-hand side, we have word sketch option. I'm going to click on it, don't worry about it. It gives us all information about the collocation and the word combinations, right? Also on the other side, we have word sketch difference. I told you before that it compares synonymous word, different collocation of two words at the same time here. Thesaurus is the thesaurus in the old sense. Nothing changed in this respect here, but we have concordance that gives us all different sort of word descriptions of any given item, regardless of whatever you are writing on the chat box and then search box, and then you are getting a very similar contextual pattern of the same words here. Also, we have word list that gives you the order of words in a frequency measurements, right? Keywords and engrams. Engrams, I told you, it's multi-word expression. I'm going to click on this section in a short while. If you look at word sketch section here, right? By the way, in the second slide, I have some tables which were done by using this word sketch option of the sketch engine, and lots of different tables here. But I think I will not have time to show these tables with you. Maybe I can be very quick about this. I don't know how much time I have for the time being.
We would be very happy if you could finish it in a
Ferit Hocam is ironically smiling. I know this face, this smiling face. Okay. I know what it means, right? Okay. Right. So let me show you a very brief account. When you click on make here, okay, and if you click on go, miracle happens all of a sudden here. We have all such different variations with the word make, right? For example, if you look at the object section of the word, you see that we have frequency data as well as we have log dice data. Log dice data is something like this, miracle. It shows you, it indicates how strong the collocation is. I think it is almost beyond imagination in any way you can just measure the strength value of any given item, right? Without using sketch engine program here, right? Anyway, make decision, right, is one of the most frequent collocation. We can also make it as a cluster, right? It's an important cluster analysis. The kind of cluster küme, okay, with the adverbs make, right? Make decision is in this, by the way, I am using from, sorry, I'm not start from beginning. I have uploaded some new corpora here. One of the corpora is British Academic Written English corpora. BAE is an academic corpora, something that we use very often, right? Also, we have English web corpora, and with this number of words, that's why I did not tick it, because it contains many words and it takes some time to work with this English web corpora here. But brown corpora has only 1 million words, which is so easy to work with this brown corpora here. I'll go back to BAE corpora here, right? Because it is one of the, okay, let me go to make again here at the same time here. So as a verb form, make has this kind of picture, right? So I'm calling to English teachers in Turkey and elsewhere in the world. In what way and how you can imagine using such simple tools to understand, to come up with the contextual factors of each word when they are used in combination, in clusters, in different clusters, you know that when they order change, the meaning will also change, right? So this combinatorial nature of English language should be best, I think, searched and analyzed and investigated by using such corpus tools, right? I believe that English language has a very flexible nature in terms of word usage here. When many words come together, they form frames, and the best way to work with these frames is this. I definitely believe that idiomatic principles, idiom principle of English language should be introduced to our learners. English language and Turkish language are different, right? In terms of lexicality, right? We have English way of expressing something and we have Turkish way of expressing something. In Turkish, quite unlike what happens in English, we have single words to come up with different meaning. For example, let me give you some example from Turkish. Almak, gelmek, gitmek, vurmak, görmek, koşmak. These words can be used with very different meanings based on the context. This is quite unlike what happens in English, I suppose, that English words are full of combinations. They have different additions and complements to come up with different meaning each time. I think our learners should know that, should be presented with such knowledge of in order to help them distinguish between the English way of saying something and Turkish way of saying something. Ferit Hocam, do I have still time to continue?
Sorry, but
No.
Ali Şükrü Hocam. So maybe, so
I
I'm
will
just
share.
thinking of this. Maybe we can have another session on the use of Sketch Engine if you are also willing to do so. Yeah, I know that the time is limited and we are also very behind, you know, the schedule, time schedule. Really sorry for that.
Okay, thank you,
Okay.
thank you. Okay, that's all. Thank you, fine. Thank you, the audience. Okay.
Thank you so much, Ali Şükrü Hocam, and I'm really sorry for this time limitation. Now, let me first check our last speaker. Just a second. All right. So, Samira, ZITOUNI, can you hear us?
Yes.
Oh,
I'm
that's
hearing
great.
you.
Yes, so we can. Yeah. So I know that there's some kind of, you know, technical issues. So sorry for that. So could you please share your screen, your presentation actually?
Yes.
And after your session, we're going to have the question and answer session. So if you have any questions, you can type in the chat box, or you can also ask your questions in person. So therefore, if you can raise your hand, so we're going to let your, you know, microphone on and video on, and you can ask your questions in person, of course, if you wish to do so. So thank you so much. All right, now we can see your slide, and if it is possible to make it in the full mode, we're going to really appreciate. Can you hear us, Samira? I think it's
Queen.
Frozen. The screen is frozen. I don't know. Can you hear us? Ah, all right. Okay.
And now?
It's okay. So you can start because we are very behind the time schedule. I'm sorry for that. I know that, you know.
Okay. Okay. Shall I start?
Yeah, please do. Thank you so much. Ah, by the way, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm really sorry. Let me, you know, introduce you briefly. So for that,
Yes.
I'm sorry for my mispronunciation. Dr. Khadidja Samira ZITOUNI. Is it okay?
No, Khadidja Samira ZITOUNI.
Okay, sorry for that. She's a PhD researcher in the field of applied linguistics. She's a teacher at Barika University Center, Batna, Algeria. She taught for 7 years, bachelor and master's level. She participated in many conferences inside and outside Algeria. Besides, she published 10 national and international articles about different topics such as online learning, plagiarism, foreign language learning and teaching, personality, social values, culture, assessment, and migration. Likewise, she is a co-author in an international book in Cambridge Scholars. She made an international training program on research manuscript drafting and publishing. She organized several national and international study days and seminars. She was a member in INDELT. She's an active member in the Psychology of Roles User Laboratory. The author speaks 3 languages, Arabic, French, and English. The stage is yours. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for your introduction. It's always a pleasure to see you, Ferit. So first of all, I would like to welcome everyone present here. I'm very happy to be among you. So without losing time, I go directly to the title of my presentation. So today I'm going to speak about incorporating artificial intelligence in online learning and teaching. And these are the contents of my presentation. So first, I'm going to start by a short introduction, then telling you about my first experience with online learning and the main challenges that I have faced and how have I integrated artificial intelligence in foreign language online learning, and of course, a conclusion. So the sudden emergence of COVID-19 pandemic led Algeria and many other countries to adopt online learning. Okay. I said that, yes, of course, implementing the technological devices and the online software is more critical today than ever before for both teachers and students, especially and carry on their studies online. So moving to my first experience with online learning. As we all know, with the appearance of COVID-19 pandemic, all universities were closed. So all the Algerian teachers were asked to put their lectures online. So here, each university has used different software in order to facilitate online learning. The most frequent applications that were used include Google Classroom, Google Meet, Facebook, Zoom, Moodle, and EasyClass. So here, as a university teacher, I have used first EasyClass, which was proposed by the administration where I teach. However, students have very low participation with this application. For this reason, I was obliged to use Facebook to teach and interact with my students because it was the only application that all students were familiar with. And as students start the next academic year, so many changes have occurred. After all, we have all learned from our previous experiences. Thus, the university has created accounts for all teachers and students on Moodle platform. And they have trained, organized training workshops for both teachers and students to explain how to use different online applications such as Moodle, Google Classroom, Google Meet, and Zoom. And of course, the unexpected and unplanned switch to online learning evoked various challenges among the many. As a teacher, some were under control and others are still unmanaged. So it has been a real challenge regarding the fact that lectures were always conducted in face-to-face situations and are now in a transition to the remote education mode. And another major challenge that I found is that it was difficult to fully integrate computers in teaching some subjects. And of course, some students could not have access to the internet due to their socio-economic situation. Students who have access, however, lack the experience of studying virtually. And importantly, students' different learning styles were also challenging. So here, teaching online has been a challenge for teachers to create a method that suits all the learning styles and consider their differences. So concerning the integration of artificial intelligence in foreign language learning, implementing AI in foreign language online learning helped to improve the quality of online learning. These applications afford the possibility to transcribe speech, check pronunciation, ameliorate speaking, listening, writing, and reading skills, and enrich the vocabulary. So while learning online, learners are found to be more comfortable, relaxed, and often prefer conveying with machines than with people. Concerning how to improve their speaking, writing skills and vocabulary learning, in the speaking skill, artificial intelligence-based communication tools assist in the creation of learning settings and correcting letters and words pronunciation using sound exercises and visual media. In the writing skill, AI can boost engagement and motivation. For the writing process, it assists writers by applying plagiarism detecting, grammar checker, and rich educational practices. And concerning the vocabulary learning, artificial intelligence opens up fresh instructional possibilities to promote foreign language vocabulary learning. So here, as I was teaching EAP, English for Academic Purposes subject, I have trained my students to use Grammarly Checker application, Killbot, and Turnitin applications. These applications help them to joyfully generate accurate papers and reduce their spelling mistakes. So concerning the Grammarly Checker, it is a tool that helps to identify and correct their grammatical mistakes. The Killbot application, of course, it is related with paraphrasing. It shows the learners how to paraphrase and how to ameliorate their academic style. And we have Turnitin. It is related with the plagiarism checker to check if they are plagiarizing or no. And among the most influential applications to practice all skills, there are chatbots, we have virtual reality, we have intelligence personal assistants. In the chatbots application, It is a program that can deliver a human-like language interaction with the students. We have the virtual reality. It provides an authentic interaction environment and mimic different real-life contexts by giving various helpful scenarios in a motivating, joyful manner. And we have intelligence personal assistance. It is considered as a type of chatbot application that takes all orders to answer particular questions. So, and here are some games that I highly recommend to learners to develop, to enrich their vocabularies. So, to conclude, ladies and gentlemen, digital learning has filled the gap between higher education and the new world's needs. It has provided teachers with opportunity to reach their learners at any time and in any place. Thus, we are no longer restricted by time. Here, if you find something interesting, you can share it with your students anytime. So it is now applicable to teaching academic subjects as well as to extending extracurricular activities and practices. In this respect, integrating artificial intelligence tools in learning support allows students to use English in very natural, communicative, and stress-free learning surroundings. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for your kind attention.
All right. So thank you so much for this informative presentation and for your, careful attention to the timing. Thank you so much. And the audience, thank you so much. Dear audience, now we have the question and answer session. You have two options. Either you can, type your questions or comments or suggestions in the chat box, or alternatively, you can also ask your questions in person. All right. So you can just raise your virtual hands, and in that way, we can allow you to turn on your microphones and webcam if you wish. All right, so Dr. Philip, just a second. All right. Dr. Philip, can you hear us now? You can unmute yourself.
Yes, hi Ferret, how you doing?
Hi, Philip. Hi, great to
hear you. I don't mind turning my camera on just to show you my smile and waves to everybody. However, thank you to the speakers, by the way. Thank you all, guys. It's always good to hear other people giving their perspective on our wonderful professions that we have. But my question is for the last Dr. Khadidja. One question. I saw at the end of the slide there you had chat bot. Obviously, they're robots. They're chat bots. Are they just for texting, or do you have chat bots that use voices as well? Do you have, are students allowed to access a virtual voice? Because some of the YouTube voiceovers, so to speak, are obviously robotic, and I'm not so sure whether I would want my daughter, who is half Thai, learning English through a robotic type voice. Is there such a thing that you use with the students as well, using realistic audio and voice repetition, or whatever the case may be?
You are asking if, hello first.
Yeah, hi.
Thank you for your question. So you are asking if I'm using this application to train them to speak?
Yeah,
is
there such a thing? Do you use such a thing?
Yes, they interact and the robot answer. They are making a real communication, but not with humans.
Oh, there I am. There we go. There you go. I just wanted to say hi. All right. Yeah. Okay. So, but do they use realistic voices? You know, like as you guys, you know, using the language of English in your.
Can I interrupt? Yeah.
Yes, of course, mate.
Yeah. I typed the website for the application. Replica.
Oh, right, yes.
Yeah. Replica, and so you have a kind of conversation, two-way conversation with this chatbot, either in the text format, or he or she can listen to you and then respond, and that's great. So you can just give it a try, and it's a wonderful artificial intelligence based application. And Philip, I did a study with this application. Maybe I can share the results with you, by the way. All right.
Yes, written or spoken application.
Yeah.
Right. Thank you, Dr. Khadidja. Thank you very much indeed. I will mute myself. Nice to see you again, Perry. Thanks very much.
So thank you so much, Philip, again, for your
everybody else, all the speakers as well. Much obliged to everybody. It's really interesting. Thanks, mate. Cheers.
So now I'm just a second. Redouan, sorry for my mispronunciation.
Yeah, that's it. Redouan Bagit. Redouan Bagit. Yeah. Okay, thank you so much. So yeah. So I really thank all the panel for their presentations. Actually, they are very, very interesting. I also thank as well the organizing committee for the punctuality and the organization. I would like just to have just one question. This question is dealt with the issue of assessment. We've been talking about the issue of online and distance education, but have you all, I mean, the presenters, this is my question for all the presenters, thought over the issue of assessment while designing your lessons and providing tools to cope with the issue of online assessment during the pandemic? Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much for your question. Yes, it's any of the speakers who would like to respond to this question? So while teaching, regarding the online assessment, so Kenan says perhaps online assessment can be the theme for the next webinar. Sure, why not? Any of the speakers who would like to talk about how they benefited from online assessment and what they did in order to organize the activities, assessment activities? Ali Şükrü Hocam, would you like to say anything, or Tuba Hocam?
Assessment activities can be varied under difficult, under different. Okay, sorry, my voice is okay. Integration of technology, Hocam, to the assessment activities is a very important something. Ferit Hocam, there's something going on here. I think that's disturbs the voice quality here, right?
Yeah, now it's okay. So, okay.
This is so far for my part. Maybe Tuba Hocam would like to say something about technology integration in this stuff here, right?
Yeah, well, I've been practicing Web 2 tools lately, both e-twinning projects and some other projects. And in one of my other presentation, I mentioned the digital natives. So we should always remember that we are teaching digital natives. So we are the digital immigrants and they're the digital natives. So they all have a tendency to learn through digital platforms. So in every aspect of teaching, both assessment and teaching and reflecting and project-based learning, and in each kind of teaching and learning process, I think a teacher should train himself and herself through these platforms. And I also observed that most of the students also like to use avatars. Yeah, so they kind of like to reflect themselves as avatars. So especially in the projects and in e-twinning projects and some other projects. So yeah, this digitalization needs to be welcome more and more, I think.
Okay, so anybody else who would like to say anything about online assessment? So yeah, if I respond to that question, so if you are looking for, 100% secure online assessment, so there is no solution to that, question, because sometimes teachers just ask for the tools, which make it, impossible for, for the test takers to cheat, etc. Because it's not possible, because whenever we have the technology, there will be always other ways of, overcoming that kind of limitations. Yeah, there are some tools on the internet which, keeps the participants from opening other web applications, etc. But unfortunately, there is no, 100% secure tool. And when it comes to online assessment, so if, as I said, if you are, you can benefit from the tools available on the websites, multiple choice questions, open-ended questions, etc. Yeah, sure, Philip. So you're going to respond.
Yeah, no, I was agreeing with you totally. And I think we've all experienced this as lecturers and as educators, with students, having to do online studying and assessments because of the COVID. I mean, it's my own daughter has lost 2 years of her education. She's 6.5, and millions of other children across the world have and we don't know the outcome of that yet, really, how it has affected them really in the long term. However, the one thing I've tried to do at university is, because of the obvious, we're not trying to accuse our students of being cheaters, no, but however, the opportunities are there, and you will get students that will take that opportunity, and and they're trying to help each other. You can sort of see that, why they want to do that. However, I've always found that putting them into groups and making them try to do either presentations or a presentation through Microsoft, producing a document type of presentation or presentation using PowerPoint slides. It may not be the perfect way of assessing sometimes, but it does alleviate some of the things that, the paper exam or the LMS, learning management system exam ways of assessing. I found that I got probably more out of the students that way than just putting an online quiz, randomizing the questions. It's the only thing you can do. It's very tough for everybody here. Anyway,
can I add something?
Yeah, thanks, mate.
Yeah, please.
Can I add something?
Yeah, sure.
Yes, of course. When we are talking about online assessment, it is not the same as the traditional face-to-face assessment on the table. So in my case here in Algeria and in my university, we are obliged to use, when we have an assignment or test which is online, we are obliged to use it in Moodle application. So here the teacher has the choice to use direct questions in a bank of questions. For example, you give the students 100 direct questions, and you limit them with time. Otherwise, we provide them an essay in which we are seeking to have learners critical thinking, questions that they cannot search in the net and get the knowledge easily, but they have to think and they provide their own opinions. Here, learners cannot have copy and paste from the internet and provide you the knowledge. Of course, they need to paraphrase, they need to integrate what they have learned, etc. So this is a good way that I find in online assessment.
And I would like to again thank all the speakers today and also the audience. By the way, we have shared the link for the e-certificates. Just a second, I'm sharing it in the chat box again. The certificates will be sent to the email addresses that you have typed in the Google form in an hour. Okay. And again, thank you so much for your comments. I'm really sorry for not being able to, spend much more time. And please, in the Google form, by the way, you don't have to fill out the feedback form, but if you can also provide your suggestions, comments, etc. Okay, regarding the webinars. And we are, we're not going to hold any webinars during July and August, so it will be a kind of holiday for all of us, and I hope that you're going to enjoy your summer holiday after all work, because I know that most of the people here are teachers, lecturers, etc. So therefore, please enjoy the summer term or summertime, sorry, and have a nice day. Thank you.